Hello there guys, welcome back again to another tutorial. Today I'm going to show you how to implement or how to send contact form details using Laravel-Livewire. So today we are going to look at this in this tutorial. So we are going to use Livewire, that is it's a package within Laravel that is able to, that has come up lately, and you're able to send, in other words, you're able to implement most of the web application stuff, Laravel-Livewire, but you're able to do it, that is, you're able to do it with the Livewire. Now, the good thing with Livewire is that you're able to send in other words, you're able to implement any particular web application, any web-based application without a page reloading. So today we're going to look at this Livewire. So if you are new to Livewire, this is how Livewire is. So you're going to check how it is, how it operates, and most of the basic stuff you're going to look at. All right, so let me show you the demo project so that you can understand. You can see how it is working. So the first thing here, you'll have a contact form. So now this contact form has a validation as well. It has a real-time validation, and as you can see here, the button is also disabled, so that when you are sending, it will only send once you have filled your details. So it can't send right now. So let's just test this form and see. So this will be, so I'll enter my name, and as well let me enter my email. Now, as you can see, as I'm entering my email, it's already validating in a real-time format. So Brian, at gmail.com. So, and then okay, so the subject, I'm not validating the subject, or so let me just go to the message. So this is a message. So as you can see, it's also validating. This is a test message. Now I'm using a Mailtrap. Sorry, this should be S. So I'm using a Mailtrap to handle my email or to render my email content. So I'm using Mailtrap. So let me just send this. Now you can see the button has been enabled. So now when I send, it's going to send the particular credentials within Livewire. Now this one does without a page reload. As you can see, now the message has been sent, and there's a pop-up notification that shows you thank you for your email. So now when we go to Mailtrap, we should see the particular contact form label that handles or renders the email contents from our application, which are these ones that are filled. All right guys, so let's just get started with this tutorial. All right guys, so let's get started. So the first thing we'll want to do here, now I have a contact form that is simply just returning this, that is rendering this particular contents, your name, email, subject, and your message. It's just as I've shown you in the previous demo. So now what you need to do is that you can get any particular contact form if you want to follow up with me in this tutorial, or else you can just follow up as well, and then you just implement in your web application. So now the first thing we'll want to do, if you haven't subscribed to this channel, just go ahead and do so, that you may get updated on any videos that I post. Okay. So now the first thing is that since you're using Livewire, which is within Laravel, I already have a Laravel application that is already installed. So I'm using Laravel 8. So this is easy. You just go and install the Laravel web application if you do not have, so that you can get started with using Livewire. You can even typically use Laravel 7 and below, since Livewire works with the Laravel versions. So you can just go and do so. So now the first thing we'd want to do is that now we'll want to install the Livewire using particular commands here. So let me just destroy the server. So now the first thing we want to do, since I already have the Livewire installed, just go and run composer. So let's just go to the documentation and let's see this. So let's just look at a quick start. So to install Livewire, you just need to run this command. So just have it here instead of having to type it. So just run this command and you're good to go. So once that is done, let's see the next thing within the documentation. So now you need to create a component using this command. So now let's just install the component. Let's create a component within our Livewire project. So let me just run this. So I'm going to say php make Livewire, and then here is going to be contact form. So contact form, and then I just hit enter so that you can create the contact form. Okay, so component has been created as well, you can see. So here it is asking something, but just go ahead and say no, and then just hit enter. So this is what is happening here. So let me just clear this so that you can see it well. So now it has created two files. One is a class and the other one is a view. So this, the first one is this one. So it has created the first one, which is contact blade.php. Should be this one. Okay, so this is the first form that will be created. And then now when you go to the controller side, it will also create a particular folder with the controller of that particular blade that we're going to render within our Livewire project. So now let's get started. So the first thing we want to do is that now, since I'm having this particular contact blade which returns the normal website, which is this one now, so what I'm going to do is that I'm going to scoop this particular code, snippet, and then I'm going to place it in the contact blade so that we can have start our logic from there. So the first thing would be, I would like to take this one off. Okay, so I'm going to copy this. I'm going to take off this one, and then I'm going to place it here within, should be within the contact blade. Let me just search for it. Okay, so it should be this one, within the Livewire. So what you need to do here, you need to have these two div tags are very important within Livewire. So just have them, and let me just paste this particular code. So now let's get started. So now what we need to do here, we need to establish a particular logic that is going to enable us to submit our form within our Livewire contact form. So now the first thing, so how does Livewire work? Let's just check a quick start. So what we have done here, we have gone to php, we have made the component, which is contact form, and then it has created two files, that is the blade and a view, and that is the view and the class. So the class is the one, this one, which is going to have the particular logic for view. How we want us to render the view, what do we want it to do. So the next thing you'll want to do is that you want to include the component as well. So at Livewire stance, we're going to see this one, and we're also going to include the scripts so that it can render or make the Livewire work in our web application. So now let's see. Now this is the particular class that we are going to build the logic from, and then we are going to view it in browser. So Livewire is just as easy as that for you to get started with if you are new. So now let's just continue. Now within our contact form.blade.php, here we are going to submit this form, and we are going to have it submit to a particular form. So now just go ahead and take this one off. So here we are going to have, just within the form, we are going to use a function in Livewire that is called wire.submit. So wire.submit prevent. So what this function is going to do is going to enable us to submit our form. It's going to prevent the default behavior of submitting our form. So here we're going to say wire.submit .prevent. Then we are going to have a particular function. We're going to give it submit form, and then the action here is going to be /contact. In other words, the returning page is going to be /contact, and then we are going to give it a method of posts. So within here we are going to give it a method post in caps. So it's going to post the particular credentials. Now, since this is a form that we are submitting data to, we need to use the @CSRF. So we're going to have it there for protecting or enabling security within our form submission. All right, so now the next thing we'll need to do, we'll now to give within our Livewire, we need now to give a wire model here, which is a Livewire functionality. Now, wire model is a Livewire component. It's a Livewire function that is going to bind our input field with our Livewire component view. What this one does is that it's going to send an AJAX request with it's going to listen for an input event and then send an AJAX request, so that we are able to, in other words, we are able to render a new data within our application. So that is what wire model does. So we are going to give it wire model, and then here we are going to give it name, right? So we are going to give it name as well. We will give it, we are also going to give an ID of the name, and as well we are going to have name is equals to name. Okay, so that is what is happening here. And then now we are going to validate our form. So here we are going to have @error, which we are going to give the input field, that is the name, and then we are going to display the error with a span class here. This span class, it's going to have a class. We are going to give it a class of error, which is going to display the color that we want to display within our message. So here we are giving it that, and then now here within our Livewire we are going to pass the particular in other words, it's going now to show us the particular message that is there. So that's how we do it within the Livewire. So now here you'll have to close as well. So let me just close the class. Okay, so we just close the span class, and then now we close at the end error as well, so that it will render the particular errors that we need. Now we are going to repeat this one to the rest. So we are going to give our email. We're also going to give it a wire model, as we have said what it does. So here we are going to give it wire model, and then we give it it's going to have email. We're also going to have an ID. So the ID is going to be email, and then well, we are giving it the name. So the name here is going to be name, like that. So now that this is done, so since we are also generating and validating our form, we are also going to copy this and paste it here, and then just change this one to, this is going to be the email. So it's going to render the email, the message is okay, and likewise. Now this span class, as I've said, it has a bootstrap class within our styles. So if I go to styles.css, since I'm using bootstrap, you can see the form header is displaying the color LED. So as we saw from the earlier demo, it was displaying the red. So this red is being taken it here, or is being rendered by this class, that is form error. So now last, as I said, I do not validate the subject, nor do I have any wire model within the subject, but as well you can go and do so. So I'm going to now the message. So the message, I'm also going to give it wire model, and the wire model I'm going to give it here will be the message that you are going to display. As well, is going to have an ID of message, sorry, and then this one is going to be the name. We are going to give it name, which is going to be now the message, so that now it can display the particular. So as well, we just copy this and then paste it here. So that is what is happening in within. So here we just replace it with message. So this is message, and then the end error. So that is what is happening within our contact form.blade. Remember, we have said this is the Livewire, the view that is going to be returned by the Livewire that is being rendered under this class, that is the contact form that we created. So which is now returning this at contact form. Now another thing we need to do here, since it's going to return this view, we may need to include our Livewire scripts like this. So within the quick start, as we have seen, within the quick start we have the Livewire stars and Livewire scripts. So let me just copy and paste this within our project. So within the contact blade, so within somewhere here, I'm going to have the styles, and as well I'm going for the scripts, which are this. So that is a script. Okay, so this is here. So this is going to be somewhere here, just above the body. Okay, and then you can save that one. So now here where we have this space, remember as well we took out the part of the contact form, whereby we placed it here within the Livewire blade. So what we're going to do here, we are going to give it, we are going also to render the particular Livewire. We want it to render within our Livewire, so we are going to give it at Livewire. So at Livewire in brackets, and then here I'm going to give it contact form, so that now it can render this particular part of the code within our contact blade.php. So that is what is doing within this part. So let me just save this one, and then remember within the contact.form.php is the one that is returning the livewire.contact.form, which now should be this one. So it's going to return this particular contact blade. The contact blade will be okay to be rendered together, and then once it reaches here, it's going to render this particular blade. So let's continue. So now, since now we have given the form wire submit.prevent and all the other particular functions within Livewire, so the next thing here, remember we gave it .prevent equal to submit. So now the submit form is going to, now we are going to make a method from this submit form that is going to perform, in other words, we are going to perform a logic within our submit form, so that it can so that we can have the logic for what now is going to be rendered within our form. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to or else I've just remembered, before we go to the method within the submit form, let us just make a contact form mailable class that is going to render the email contents before we just go to the contact form class that is within this one. I'm using Mailtrap so as to deliver the messages. So let me just make this contact form mailable class that is returning this particular email content, as you can see here. So what I'm going to do here, just go to your terminal and then type this command, php artisan make mail, and then the mail we are going to make here will be the contact form. We are going to give it the name. So remember, this one you can give it any name that you want, since it's just a class that is you're going to user define it. So let me just click enter. So now this one is going to make a mail contact form mailable class within our Laravel. So if you're not new to Laravel, you must have done this. So this is what it's going to do. It's going to create the mail class within a folder, and then it's going to have this contact form mailable. Now this class is the one that is going to render this particular email. In other words, it's going to enter the particular email contents, and then they are going to be rendered within this Mailtrap service. Okay, so now I'm going to declare a variable here within the contact form mailable. So I'm going to have that is contact. So now this contact is a variable that I'm declaring, that I'm going to use it so as to capture my contacts, that is going to capture my the names that I'm going to give it. For example, the name, the email, and the message. So we have that. Okay, so within here we're going to use a keyword called this, and then what I'm doing here is going to be contact. I'm going to, sorry, this should be, okay, so this is now the variable that I'm passing, so contact. Okay, and let me just end this. So now this, what is happening here is that I'm giving this one to all the particular user input details that we are going to give within our mail, within our form. Now the function build here is the one that returns the email contents, that is the ones you can see here, the name, the email, and the message. So here what you're going to do here, I'm going to make a folder, and then within the folder I'm going to give it the contact blade.php. so here I'm going to have email.contact like this. So this is a folder and this is a blade. So within the views, since it's returning a view, I'm going to make okay, let's go within the view. So within here I'm going to make a folder called email, and then I'm going to make the blade, that is the contact.php. Now what this one is going now to the contact blade.php is now this one that is going now to render. Remember, it is an HTML markup. So here I'm going to have, let me do that emit and generate this code. So what we are going to do here, we're going to pass the name. Okay, so this is P. So here I'm going to pass the name. Okay, now within the name I'm going to pass the parameter or the variable that I'm using, and then in this case it's, so the variable contact is going now to take the particular values that we are going to render here. So I'm going to get the name, the email, and the message. So this is going to be, so here this is going to be the email. So this is the email that I'm giving, that we are the message likewise. So this is going to be the message. Okay, so now this is what is happening. So we are returning the name, the email, and the message, just like you see here. So this is the structure, or this is what the input fields that we are going to receive here. So this file is typically handling what you are just seeing here. So let me save that one. Now within the contact form label, let me also save. So now this is what it's going to do. Passing the variable, and then the variable we are going to is the one now we are giving it here, so that can take in the name, the email, and the message. So now let's go to contact form.php. Now this is the class that extends the component that we are rendering our email, that is going to render the email contact form. Now within the class, just right above the class, we are going to define the three variables, and they are going to be public, so that we can validate them and do some other thing with them. So here we're going to have email, and then here I'm going to give it this is the message. Okay, so this will be message. Okay, so now this is what is happening there. So we are going to take the name, the email, and the message, and we are declaring them to be public. Then now we are going to have another variable that I'm going to give here. This one is going to be success message. It's just the one you saw in the earlier demo. That is going to, if the email that has been sent from the user input fields, it's successful or not. Now down here, I'm going to validate this particular user input field. So I'm going to declare a method here called within Livewire, that is called protected rules, which equals to the particular credentials that I'm going to validate. So this is email. So email is going to be required. So this is going to have lastly the message. Okay, so the message is also as well, we are also validating the message. So now here within the name, within the email, I'm going to give it, since we are validating the email, so the email, we need it to be an email. So once we give it that way, then it's going to ensure that it's an email that is being put by the user. And then this one, I'm going to give it a min of 6, so that the characters that are entered here are 6 and more. So that is what is happening there. So now within this is the validation. So now here I'm also going to give another method. Now this method is going to be from this particular part of the code. That is why we have the contact form label within the Livewire. So this part, submit form, which says .prevent submit form, is the one that is going to submit our form once the user types the fields. So within the contact form here, I'm going to make a method here. Now the method is going to be public function. So public function submit form. So this is it. So now this function is going to have the variable contact that we had earlier defined, and then this one is going to have, the first thing we are going to do, we want it to validate our input fields. So we are going to give it, okay, so this is it. So this one is going to validate what we have just given within the protected rules. Now we are going to use the contact form. Since we created the contact form enable class, So the other thing we're going to do here, we're going to have the mail2. So the mail2 is already a predefined within Laravel. So the mail2 is we are going to mail it to the particular person that we want him to receive the email. For example, let me give it my email here to Brian. Here should send it to, we're going to give it send. So send new contact form, the mailable class that we created. So this is so contact form mailable, and then we are going to pass the particular variable, which is the contact. So this is what is happening. We are simply telling it mail to the email given and send it to the contact form, the new keyword with the class, and then the variable we are passing. Remember, this is it is from this one. So this is what we are telling it to come here and then do this particular thing that we are telling it, and then return the view, which should be this one. Okay, so now so once that is done, so let me go back to it again. So that is it. So that is what is done here. Now before we validate, we can also see if the form is already working, since now it is sent into this particular email, sent into this class, and so forth. So let me just say this. There's an error here. I think we should have closing tags there, like that. Okay, so there's an okay, so here we also need to end it with that. I think so. Okay, so now this is, so let us run this and let's see what's happening, since it's already since we have established most of the things that we need. So let me just run php artisan serve, and let's see the working. Okay, so let me just, so another thing you need to know is that within the web, so within the web I'm only returning the contact, which should be this one. So within the web routes, you just need to have this one. So I'm just returning the root with the view contact, which should be now the blade itself, which should be this one now. So that is what is happening here. Okay, so let's check it within a while. Okay, so right now let's just fill the form and let's see what's going to happen here. So let me just fill here. So this is, I'm going to give it test message like this. So let's just check what's happening, and let me send the email. Okay, so now let's check within our Mailtrap. So far it hasn't brought up anything. Okay, so let me try again. Okay, so there's an error here that is coming. So mailable class is not found. So we need to import this particular class. I just forgot it. So let me just do this quickly. Let me just import this class quickly. All right. So now there's the two classes. So you need to have them use app mail contact form mailable, and as well use illuminate support facet email. So you need to have both of them. And let's go back again to our application and let's check. So let me just try to resubmit the form again, and let's see if it's going to submit. Okay, so now it's successful, and okay, so this is going to be the particular contact. Now I don't know why it is bringing this particular. Okay, so let's just check again. sorry, so we forgot to close this. So I just forgot to close this, so we need to have them closed. Let me just click that. Okay, so let me just try to okay, so now this is it. So just ensure you have them closed like this, and then yeah. So now let's just finish up with the contact form class. So what is happening here? Remember, we are validating, and then we are now sending to this mail to within this particular class. Now what is remaining here? We need the real-time validation. We need to enable the user as he's typing the input field, just like you saw in the demo. So we need to have it to have the real-time validation format. Now within the real-time validation format, we already have a class that is defined for us within the Livewire, which should be this one. So it should be should be the class which says validate only the property name, and then run the rules property validation against a specific property provided and not others. So what we're going to do here, we're going to provide a method that is going to validate only those particular input fields that that the user types within our web application. So I'm going to have public function, and then this public function, I'm going to give it the keyword updated, together with I'm going to pass the property name variable, which is going to validate only those particular elements of class, the user input fields that we are given. So here I'm going to have this keyword which is going to point to validate only property name. So what we are doing here, we are running the rules of the property name, and we are telling it validate only this particular user input fields in real-time format. So what it's going to do is going to validate them in the real-time format. Now remember, here we had given it contact, and we had said this validate. So this one was validating, but it's only after when the user clicks send, and let's say he had not written the message part, so it's going to so you ask him to fill his or her details, but this one is going to validate it in the format even before the user types the particular message. So now what you're supposed to do there is that I'm also going to give it okay, let's just check what is happening. So once I say there is an error, so this should be close. Okay, so let's just check. So let me just reload the page again. Alright, so I'm getting this particular error. So the error should be, I had forgotten, just this one should have a Y there. So it should be property name but not property. So let me just say this again. I think the error should go again. So let me just reload the page once more, and let's just check. Let me just give the input fields. So that is Brian. So now as I type, it should now give me the real-time validation, which should tell me the email must be a valid email address. So this is what we refer to as real-time validation using Livewire. So it is successful after defining this particular method, which is going to take the property name and validate this particular user input fields. So once I type at Gmail, for example, brian@gmail.com, I give it something like test message. So once I click enter, it should be, or this should be that .com, sorry. Okay, so now when I click enter, it should the Mailtrap should receive the particular input field. It is now successful. So now the last thing I would like us to do is let's also give the success message and also reset this particular input field, so that whenever the person now finishes sending, it's able to reset our form to empty field. So let's just finish with this. So now what you're going to do here within the contact form label method here, so I'm going to give this one this success, which equals to something like thank you, yes, thank you message, like that. So let me just close it that way. So remember, this one is being handled by this particular public variable, the success message variable there. Okay, so now this is it. So now the next one I'm going to do here, I'm going to give just below about the function, the method, the render, I'm going to give another method here, private function. So this is going to reset our form. So I just want us, once the the message goes successfully, we need to reset the form to empty field. So here I'm going to give this, it's going to have the name, and I'm going to give the name here to input. So let me just copy this and the message. So this is what it's going to do. So it's going to return them to empty. Now above here, just within the function, the method function, I'm going to give this keyword, whereby I'm going to say reset. I'm going to call this particular function so that it can return, that is the user input fields are going to be empty. Okay, so now this is it. So now what you're going to do, another thing, so for us to see this success message which says thank you for your message, let's go back to the contact form blade, which is going to give out the success message. So above here, I'm going to give the success message. I'm going to come to flash messages within the Livewire docs, and then let's just use this one with the div tags. So I'm going to copy this one, and then I'm going to have it, let me paste it there, and as well let me try to, okay, so let me just put it at that angle. So this one is going to render for us the pop-up message with the success message. So here I'm going to redefine it like this. So let me take this one off. So this one should be success message. Okay, so this is going to be the success message, and then here we are going to give it success message. Now remember, this is a variable that we have already defined within our project, so it's the one that we are now using. So this is going to render the success with that pop-up. It's going to bring the pop-up message here just above our form. All right, so now this is defined here as we have said, and it is this one that is going to give this particular message. And then remember, it's already defined within the public. So I think we are now done with this. Then we have said the method function is going to reset the form to empty fields. So let's see this in action. So let me just reload the page once more. All right, so now so let's do another let's send, right? So let me send this once more, and let's see what's happening there. Now you can see the pop-up message has come again. Thank you for your image, for your message. And then now within the Mailtrap, we can see this. Now there's something I forgot to show you guys. Now within the Mailtrap, maybe you may be wondering how I have connected the Mailtrap with my Laravel project. So what you need to do is that come under integration, then click curl, then go to Laravel, that is the name of your app. Now within Laravel, you're going to have these particular credentials that you're going to use to fill up your env file within the mailer. So we have the SMTP, the particular host, the username, the password, and the encryption. So now when you come here within the .env file, you are going to find this particular credential that I've just copied them and pasted them here. So once this is done, you are good to go. You can as well use other particular mail services that they offer free testing, and for my example, I'm using Mailtrap. Okay, now the last thing I would like to show you is the disabling the button, so that whenever the person hasn't completed the filling the his or her form, the button will be disabled. So let's see how we can do this in our Livewire. So for the part of disabling the button, so that we can have, so this part, we're going to have this particular code snippet that will enable you to have your button disabled. That is, if you want the button to be disabled until the person fills his or her details. So I'm going to have this particular code snippet. So let me just explain it since it is a bit long. So what we're saying here, we're going to have is not name, and then is not email, and then email, that is the name and the email, can't be null. So they have to have a particular credentials. And then as well, you can also add for message so that it is full. So this is just a starting point. So you are going to check the name. As well, you're going to check that the name is not null and the email is not empty. This, and then if it's empty, then you're going to disable it. It's going to be disabled. But if it's not empty, then once the person fills, then the button is going to be enabled. So this is how you enable it. So you're going to have this code in GitHub, so you can just go and practice it in your home. So let's just see this. So now you can see the button has been disabled here. So I can't send any until I start filling in the content. So let me just fill in quickly and let's see this in action. So let me just fill. So the moment I start filling, the first one is not going to be there since it is checking the name and the email. But when I fill the email, it's going to be now, it's going to undisabled. So this is at Gmail a message. So you can now see the button has been enabled here. So once now I send this particular email, all right, so the message has been sent, and as well in our contact form label, the email contents are rendered as we expect. So guys, this is the tutorial for today. So if you liked it, so just go and like the video, subscribe to my channel, so I'll be bringing more tutorials like this which are a bit more in depth, so that you may be able to understand programming in the easiest way possible. So subscribe if you haven't, and let's meet in the next tutorial.